The Jordan Show on YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a piece of tech that changed music forever. The CD.
The compact disc.
Yeah, streaming is everywhere these days, but the story of how we got here,
Right.
fascinating. And guess what? Lasers are the stars of the show.
Absolutely, you can't talk about CDs without lasers. And that Red Book standard, we're going to get into that too.
Right. We've got research and articles all about it.
Yeah.
Think of this deep dive as like a crash course on this turning point in tech history.
It still affects us today, even if we don't realize it.
Exactly. We'll break down how CDs work, why that red laser is so important, and what Billy Joel has to do with all of this.
You ready to hit rewind?
I am. Let's go back in time. So before CDs, music lovers were dealing with vinyl records and cassette tapes. Those formats, prone to scratches, wear, and that dreaded sound degradation.
Yeah, the pops, the hisses.
I remember.
Yeah,
And our sources mention those early attempts at optical storage.
like those massive laser discs.
Yeah, those. But they were mostly for video, right? And used analog technology.
Exactly. A step towards optical media, but not quite there yet. The game changer was the laser itself.
Okay, so to get why lasers were perfect for reading data, we
Right.
need to understand how they work.
Right. Lasers emit a super focused beam of light. And it's not just any light, it's what we call coherent. All the light waves are in sync
In sync, okay.
and monochromatic, all one color. Makes the beam incredibly precise.
Makes sense. But how does a laser read the information on a CD? Like, what's even on those shiny discs?
Think of it like this. A CD is covered in these microscopic pits and land.
Pits and lands.
Yeah, and when the laser hits them, it reflects differently. That's how the laser reads the data. Those pits and lands represent the digital information, the ones and zeros.
So it's not just bumps and flat spots. It's all about how they reflect that laser light.
You got it. And that digital info, that's what makes a CD different from, say, a vinyl record.
Gotcha. So this digital information, it's stored as PCM pulse code modulation.
Yep, a way to represent sound waves digitally, using, as we said, ones and zeros. The laser hits the CD's surface. A sensor picks up those changes in reflection and translates them back into the music.
Incredible. Such tiny variations storing so much information. But how did everyone agree on how to make CDs? Was it just chaos at first?
That's where the Red Book comes in. In 1980, Sony and Philips, they got together. They created a standardized format for audio CDs.
A standardized format. So that was essential.
Absolutely. Any CD player could play any CD, no matter who made it.
Yeah.
It was huge for getting people to adopt CDs.
Okay, that makes sense. So what were some of the key specs in this Red Book? Anything worth remembering?
Oh yeah, like the 120 millimeter diameter for standard CDs. They used uncompressed PCM audio at 16-bit depth and 44.1 kilohertz sample rate.
44.1 kilohertz, huh? Is there a reason for that specific number?
Oh yeah, it's not random. It's based on the Nyquist-Shannon theorem. You need to sample at least twice the highest frequency you want to capture. Human hearing goes up to about 20 kilohertz, so 44.1 kilohertz gives you enough room to capture the full range.
It's wild how much science went into all of this.
Right, and they included error correction using Reed-Solomon coding. That way minor scratches wouldn't mess up the audio, and of course the 780 millimeter infrared laser. That wavelength was perfect for reading those tiny pits and lands.
Wow, it's like a recipe for perfect digital audio. So how much music could they actually fit on one of these CDs?
A standard CD holds about 74 to 80 minutes of audio,
Oh,
which is roughly 700 millimeter of data.
huge jump from vinyl records and cassette tapes. And this all started back in 1980. What happened next? How did people actually get to experience this?
Well, the first commercial CD player, the Sony CDP-101, was released in 1982.
1982, the dawn of a new era for music.
It was.
Can you imagine having one of those early players? I bet it felt so futuristic. And speaking of firsts, our sources say the very first album released on CD was Billy Joel's 52nd Street.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
I love that little piece of trivia. Makes you realize how quickly technology changes and becomes normal.
Right. One day you're dealing with skipping records, and the next you have this crystal clear digital sound.
Mind-blowing. But the impact of CDs wasn't just about better sound, was it?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
CDs offered this level of convenience and durability. It was unheard of. You could skip between tracks instantly, they were more resistant to scratches, and the audio quality didn't degrade over time.
Revolutionary. So CDs were clearly a hit with music lovers, but did this tech have an impact beyond just our stereos?
Oh, absolutely. The success of CDs sparked a new question. Could we use this for more than just music? That led to CD-Rs, CD recordables.
Ah, CDRs. So that meant anyone could create their own mixed CDs, right?
Exactly, and burn backups of their computer files, even distribute software on these cheap and durable disks.
I used to spend hours making the perfect mix CDs. It was like the ultimate personalized playlist. And then CDRWs came along.
Rewritable CDs, yeah. You could rewrite data onto the disk multiple times.
Game changer for storage and backups.
For sure. But the biggest development beyond audio CDs, CD-ROM. The Yellow Book standard, remember we talked about that. It led to these disks that could store computer data.
CD-ROMs, I remember those.
Yeah.
Essential for early PCs and gaming.
Absolutely. You could have encyclopedias, dictionaries, entire software suites all on a single disk. Games could be more complex. Software was easier to share.
Mind-blowing for the time.
A digital revolution, really.
It's crazy how one technology, reading data from a disk using a laser, had such a huge impact on so many industries.
Right? It wasn't just about music anymore. It transformed how we accessed and shared information, period.
It really did. So we've covered a lot here. Let's do a quick recap. Lasers and CDs, they really did revolutionize the way we listen to music, right?
Hands down.
It's easy to take it for granted now, but
It was a big deal.
a huge deal. No more worrying about your records getting scratched or your tapes wearing out. CDs give us this pristine sound that just wasn't possible before.
And a convenience factor, right? Being able to skip between tracks instantly. That was a revelation.
Funny to think how revolutionary that was back then. Now we skip songs with a tap on our phones.
Oh, for sure.
But back then, it was a major selling point for CDs. And like you mentioned, the technology didn't stop there. What happened after those initial audio CDs? What came next?
Well, people started seeing other possibilities, like what if you could record your own data onto a CD? That's how we got CD-Rs, CD recordable.
CD-Rs, yeah, I remember those.
Suddenly, anyone could make mixed CDs, burn backups of their computer files, even distribute software on these affordable, durable disks.
Yeah, those mixed CDs. It was like having the ultimate personalized playlist. And then there were CD-RWs, the rewritable ones.
Yep, you could rewrite data onto the disk multiple times.
Changed the game for data storage and backups for sure.
Absolutely. But maybe the most significant development beyond audio CDs, that was the CD-ROM.
The CD-ROMs, right?
Right, the Yellow Book standard, the one we talked about earlier. That paved the way for these disks to store computer data.
CD-ROMs. Those were crucial for early PCs and gaming.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. Encyclopedias, dictionaries, complete software suites, all on one disk. Games became more immersive. Software distribution got easier and cheaper. And remember, those multimedia encyclopedias. Mind-blowing back then.
It really was a digital revolution. It's amazing how one technology, the ability to read data from a disk using a laser, impacted so many different industries.
It wasn't just about music anymore, right? It was about changing how we access and share information. Full stop.
Absolutely. So as we start wrapping up this deep dive into lasers and CDs, what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to take away? What stands out to you?
I'd say it's the way technology and innovation are all connected. The development of the laser, that standardized CD format, how things evolved from audio CDs to CD-ROMs, it's all part of this incredible story of human ingenuity, you know?
Yeah, and it really highlights how even small breakthroughs can have this ripple effect, leading to these huge changes we might never have expected. It reminds us that progress isn't always a straight line.